In a world of free exchange, where you have truly free exchange, we wouldn't envy those people with money necessarily. We would admire them because presumably they got that money by giving value to people, okay? So I don't have any real hang-up about Bill Gates. As far as I know, as far as I can tell, Bill Gates has made my life wonderful. I mean, I have now a couple laptops and other computer things that I can do all sorts of things with that I couldn't do before. And because he did that, I have not a whit of envy about the amount of money he has because I feel he earned it honestly and I'm benefiting from it, okay? So money doesn't have to be the object of envy. One reason to envy people with money might be if they did exploit it and you live in a world of exploitation where they've got it at your expense or vice versa. Well, then you might envy people with money. Don't get me wrong, because money stores value, envy is a human emotion. I'm not saying, you know, if we turn to the free market, envy will disappear or something crazy like that. But really, when you do think about the nature of money, it really in a free market is not the kind of thing that's going to produce that much envy because you're a beneficiary of it. Remember, money is a social medium. It's not, they just went over there by themselves and got all this stuff. They had to deal with you somehow and with me. And that means I'm a part of their wealth as well, and that is a reason not to envy them so much. Okay, well that's Rand's message in the speech. Okay. Now, because money stores value and values can be corrupted, the virtues of money that I've just tried to enumerate, they themselves can be corrupted as well, right? So I don't mean to suggest there's no corruption associated with money, but let's look at a little of it. First of all, money can be looted or exploited, as I said. Take it away from people. Governments can do it. They could be expropriated. Okay. Now, one additional way, by the way, of expropriating money from people is to devalue it, right? If I've got $10 and you are a government and you devalue my $10 so it's now worth $5, well, you know, that's like taking $5 out of my pocket, right? So you can exploit people not just by physically taking something away from them, but money has the interesting property is you can exploit it by actually devaluing it in some way, more so than you can with any other bit of property. Taxing, or at least some forms of taxing, as we talked about this morning, could be a form of exploitation as well that deals with money, okay? It's, I suppose you could try to tax goods, except that you'd have to send somebody around to pick up the stuff, and that would be very cumbersome. You know, we can tax money. I don't know how it is here, but in the U.S., they pull all that stuff out of my paycheck before I get it, right? Because they want to be sure they get their money ahead of time. I don't pay them later. I have to pay them up front. So the ability to hold value allows for some bad things to be done, but I still want to try to emphasize, and I think the purpose of the speech is to say, this seems to be not the essence of money, but something that happens around or to money. And that's what Francisco in the book is trying to argue, that if there are bad things that happen with respect to money, it's not because of the nature of money itself. It has a lot to do with what surrounds money. So we can stop exchange. That's certainly one way we can corrupt things. So other people's choices get substituted for our own. This can be done by governments or individuals. Transfers rather than exchange become the norm when we're corrupting money, again, in this sense. And people are prevented from making exchanges in the first place. Okay, back to the liberty question. Again, I'm going down the values again, production, exchange, and now respect. I think corruption of money can be a form of it's a corruption of respect, a form of disrespect, if you will. Okay? It seems strange, but I think that is what can happen. People are treated as means and not as ends. If we exploit people's money or tax them in inappropriate ways or so forth, basically what we're doing is we're saying, look, you're not an end in yourself, you're a means to some other program or some other project that somebody has, and that, to me, is a form of disrespect to the individual, right? You're not getting their free voluntary consent. Basically what you're saying is that individual's a resource, and what that individual possesses is a resource. We're Remember, their possessions are often stored in the form of money. Failure to respect property rights is a form of the corruption of money, and thus a form of disrespect, as I've said. And of course, when the conditions for respect are obscured or destroyed, the link between respect and money is severed. So this strong link that I've tried to make between money and respect, once you begin to devalue it, corrupt it, take it, exploit it, transfer it, etc., then the connection between money and respect is severed. And ironically, what that means is money becomes more the focus of things than not. Because if you truly see money as a medium of exchange between me and you, what you care about is what you're exchanging for, not the money. But if money's disassociated from the person, becomes a tool of manipulating people and so forth, well then, what are you going to end up focusing on? Not them and their values, but the money itself, or the thing that the money produces, okay? And this is a way of dissociating money from respect, or disassociating money from individuals. Okay, Rand, as I've said before, tends to focus on the individual in the book, but I've tried to make the case that money is essentially a social tool. As I said earlier, it's a way of linking together complete strangers, people who may have very little in common otherwise. So money makes the scope of social connections essentially unlimited, right? It's amazing as wealth increases and the possibility of money increases. Even in my own lifetime, I could not have imagined myself coming to Malaysia when I was a kid, right? I mean, this is like, to me, the other side of the world, and maybe the US was the other side of the world to you, I don't know. Actually meeting people, dealing with them, talking to them, making trades with them and so forth was unthinkable for me just a few decades ago. But wealth and money have made all that possible, and I can relate to you on some basis, and you to me, at least initially. With money, maybe it will grow into something more, friendships and other things. But at least initially, it brings me in contact with you and in contact with me, and that seems to me to be, the scope of that is essentially unlimited. There's nobody that can't be part of this universe. Okay, so it brings oneself to others and others to oneself. How does money link us together? Interest, right? Call it self-interest if you want. That's fine with me in this context, especially, but it is interest, okay? That's why we're trading with each other. I've got something you want, you've got something I want. Our mutual interest is there, okay? Now, there are many ways human beings link themselves to each other, okay? And I